If you had to think about a recipe for a great F1 season, I think the first ingredient would be easy. Get me a pinch of Kimi Raikkonen with some great recovery drives, a cup full of wet races here and there, a tablespoon of brilliant underdog victories, and a team recovering from bankruptcy one year to winning the championship the following year. This is a pretty perfect mix of events, right? But I'm teasing you a little bit.
You naughty, naughty. You teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
Because I missed a key element out. Most importantly, we need a large helping of as many teams as possible being able to win races, because I think it's fair to say when we see one team with a car that's a million times better than everyone else's, well, it's boring. And here's a quick fact for you, just to show you how hard it is to get that perfect F1 season recipe right. In the last 5 years, Mercedes have won half the races in the race calendar. In the last year alone, they won 15 out of 20 races available. Pretty much a snore fest. But what other teams have been so dominant that they can match or even beat the Mercedes' current winning stats? Welcome to the F1 house. My name is Sakki, and keep watching to find out which car comes out on top as the best car ever. In this video, I'll try and talk as little about Mercedes as possible, but their dominance is unavoidable. If you appreciate all the work that goes into these videos, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps out my channel a lot, and it helps it get out to far more people. So let's get stuck in and go for an F1 history lesson. Coming in at number 7 is the Williams FW14B. Now, this car was famous for having bucket loads of gizmos and gadgets, namely the computer-controlled active suspension, the semi-automatic gearbox, the anti-brake system, and the traction control. Even by today's standards, this F1 car has got to be the most forward-thinking and advanced cars ever to grace the track. This car was so good that it meant Nigel Mansell won his first F1 title, winning 10 out of 16 races in a 1992 season. So looking at their dominance as a percentage, it came out as a 62.5% win rate, which is pretty impressive in any era.
Nice.
Staying on the topic of Williams, they also secured 6th place in the list with their Williams FW18. This car managed to secure 12 out of 16 races in the 1996 season. The Williams car was so dominant because of its great aerodynamic design, a design by a little known man called Adrian Newey, who designed a car that dominated all teams in the Constructors' Championship. With their 12 out of 16 records, that is a 75% win rate. And when you think of the state of the current Williams team fighting to stay in the sport, it's hard to imagine them having that kind of dominance again. But hold your horses, I think I've come up with a great idea.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Yes, I have. But that is absolutely top secret, and info about that can only be disclosed once I've reached a mere 300 million subscribers. So yeah, get working, guys. Moving on, taking 5th spot is the Red Bull RB9. This is the car that took Red Bull and Sebastian Vettel to his 4th straight championship in a row. This period in F1 on a whole took most F1 fans by surprise, because none of us would have said that a drinks company would be world champions, let alone 4-time world champs. I've also seen a lot of stories in the media that they weren't actually taken serious at the time when they joined the sport, but in 2013, Vettel and Red Bull stormed to victory, securing 13 wins out of 19 races. For a team that is only 8 years old at this point, their car during this time really announced themselves as a top team and a big deal on the grid. This is a win rate of 81.25%, which isn't bad for just the drinks company. Taking number 4, this is the Mercedes F1 W06. This is one of the most dominant cars in the modern era and was driven by Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, clinching a massive 16 wins out of 19. This has got to be one of the most dominant cars, with it having a win percentage of 84.21%. Now we move on to a team that probably symbolises F1 most with its history and winning record. Now, what's he gassing about, I hear you asking? I'm talking about Ferrari, more specifically the Ferrari 2002. This was a very dominant period for Ferrari, but this car was even more dominant than the 2004 car that a lot of people often remember. It secured 15 wins out of 17 races and bagged itself at 88.23% win rate, which is just so far ahead of every other car on the grid. These stats are starting to get scarily good. Coming in at number 2, the Mercedes F1 W07. The now iconic season where we saw team rivalry, mechanical failure, and Nico Rosberg beating Lewis Hamilton to be crowned world champion. The year saw both drivers absolutely wipe the floor, with every other team securing 19 wins out of 21 races. And let's just take 1 minute to get over that. All right, nobody's got 60 seconds to wait about, but let's just look at those results. That year, it was pretty much guaranteed that either Nico Rosberg or Lewis Hamilton would be winning races. It only happened on 2 occasions where Lewis or Nico were not standing on that top step, and that's insane. So looking at the stats, they actually bagged a 90.47% win rate. I remember this and it sticks in my mind so significantly because I was actually there witnessing it happen, and I was just left thinking at the end of the year, did that actually just happen? And taking the top spot, the McLaren MP4-4. This is a car that was driven by 2 of the greatest drivers in the history of the sport, and 2 drivers like Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton that ended up falling out. This McLaren also has probably got the most recognizable livery designs out of all F1 cars. On top of all this, it has been a car that has come the closest to securing a complete whitewash of victories, securing 15 wins out of 16 races that year, with Ayrton Senna clinching the World Championship and winning his first title in the process. Overall, the win rate was 93.75%. That dominance is scary. Looking at all the cars, I'm going to be a little bit extra here and pick my favorite car and my favorite livery. Why? Because, you know, it's my video and it's my rules. So my favorite car is the Williams FW14B, purely because it was such an advanced car. It kind of symbolizes everything that F1's supposed to be about. Looking at loopholes in the rules and making the most out of the latest technology to get the advantage over other teams. For me, the best livery is very predictable, but who cares? I'm going to pick it anyway. The best livery goes to the McLaren MP44. This livery is instantly recognizable and symbolizes a great period of history where we are able to see many great drivers on the grid at the same time fighting it out to be the best. So that just about finishes off my video about the best F1 car ever, which I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you agree, if you disagree. I still want to hear your thoughts. For me, it's been pretty clear which car comes out on top. As I said, I still want to hear your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. Until next time. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to ensure that you get all my latest videos.